Hello and welcome to Eye on Broome. I'm Jim Forbes. This week we're going to take you to northern Pennsylvania on the railroad. Now let's go to the Vestal American Legion and take a look at that model railroad layout of the Pennsylvania Railroad. I'm with Bob Pastorky and Don Reining of the Binghamton Society of Model Engineers, and we're at their layout at the Vestal American Legion, and quite a layout it is. Don, give us a little history of the organization.
The organization was formed in February and March of 1977. There was 10 local people that got together and said, hey, we need a club layout, and so we started, and our first layout was down on Washington Street in Binghamton. And we were there about 4 or 5 years. We had the distinction of being one of the few model railroads in the country that had a operating waterfall. Every time it rained, it got wet. But we had a skylight right above the middle of our railroad.
So it wasn't intentional at all?
No, it wasn't intentional. And things happened, and we had to move, and we ended up here in 1980, 81, and we've been here ever since.
Over those years, how many people would you estimate have belonged to the organization?
Well, over the years, probably between 80 and 100 people have passed through or remained as members of the club. We operate with about 10 to 12 regular members all the time. So we've got quite a good organization of people here, and we have a good time, and we have our arguments, but we generally have our good times too. So
to run anything like this requires some money. How do you finance your operation?
All right, we finance the organization by an initiation fee. Anybody that would like to join, we're open to anybody that wants to join. Mm-hmm. And the initiation fee, and then we charge monthly dues, and it pays for the rent and pays for the track and any things that we need. We also run these open houses that we're having now, and that's a donation on the public's part, and certainly helps pay the rent. We also run one little train meet or flea market in October that helps finance some of our things also. So we're operating on a budget of around $1,000 a year for rent, and just in general maybe a little more. Or we put in extra money and buy extra things. The railroad does not own any of the rolling stock, such as the locomotives or the cars. The individual members all own the equipment that you see on the railroad. The scenery and the buildings and that type of thing are owned generally by the club. Anything that stays here that's not portable is generally owned by the club. Other than that, why, all the rest, we do anything we need to do.
Thank you. Let's talk to your partner now and see if he can describe this layout for us. This gentleman on my right is Bob Pastorky, and he's also a member of the Binghamton Society of Model Engineers. Bob, this layout is really something to behold. Can you describe it for us?
Well, where we are right now, we're in the Johnsonburg area right up here. This is a city along, it used to be an old Pensy line that ran from Lock Haven, which originates over here to our right, and it goes over to the Erie yard over here, which is Erie, Pennsylvania. The area is probably about half an hour northwest from Williamsport, to give you a little idea where it is. What we've done here is kind of compressed everything to make it look somewhat like the area that we're modeling. It has a lot of hills, valleys, rivers, and towns along the way in which we can scale after and give us something to work at.
Who are the other fellows involved in this club? Do you remember?
Well, yes. There's Jerry Babcock. There's John Stillwell, Alan Jackson, Sam Botts. There's Bob Barnes. There's Dougie Miller. Anybody else I'm missing here? Steve Vaughn, our veteran dispatcher who couldn't make it here today, Mike Overlander, who should be here tonight and tomorrow.
Let's talk about some of the technical aspects. What can you tell us about the layout from a technical viewpoint?
Well, basically this is HO gauge, which is half of O gauge. Mm-hmm. O gauge is like the standard gauge that all the other gauges are based after. The scenery that you see here is plaster, and getting into it, you get all different types of ways to go at it. What we did here was we just have screen underneath, and we take the paper and we dip it into plaster, then lay it over the screen. When it dries, what we do is we just paint it, and you can buy commercial ground foam in this color. There's other ways to go in making it, getting into other technical aspects of it. And then all you do is we paint it with an earth tone, and then we sprinkle while it's still wet. We just put the ground foam on it, or dirt, or whatever. And most of the dirt on the layout is real dirt. It's been sifted down fine. The ballast on the track is what they call HO gauge ballast. It's fine enough so it goes between the tracks, and it looks like the real ballast that you see on the railroad. In the future, we plan on weathering the layout here by painting the track like a brown, so it looks like your ties really do. And that's going to be a project mainly because now it's all ballasted. The buildings, a lot of the buildings, some of them are kit bash, some of them are right out of the box. A lot of the guys take them and they weather them, and they take them and they cut them in half, like some of the buildings here in the background, and to give us more buildings on the layout. And I talked about weathering. That is to make them look realistic by spraying like dust on them, taking and making the bricks look like it has mortar between the cracks. Anything to make it look like on the smokestack right here, to make it look like it's been used. In the future, we hope to get lighting into the buildings here and give ourselves a night effect to this.
Oh, nice.
That'll be something to do over the year, I believe.
What can you tell me about the rolling stock? I see lots of it here. What can you tell me about it?
Well, the engines that are on the layout right now, you can pick them up in your local hobby store, and some of them they're sent away to specialty places. Unfortunately, they're Japanese or they're made in the foreign countries. You can spend anywhere from $5 for a little basic engine to $300–400 for a brass engine. Most of the engines that we have here on our layout would fall probably somewhere in the $30 to $50 range. As far as the rolling stock, which is your box cars and your cabooses and your flat cars, those you can pick them up anywhere from a buck to about $5. They're all redone. They have KDs on them, which are these right here. This is kind of a standardized, it looks like a real coupling. It actually has a little magnetic type rod that goes through here, so when you put it over a magnet, it opens and closes so that you can have realistic operation. The cars are also weathered too, a lot of them, where the guys who have air guns, they spray like dust on them, earth, make them coal. They paint them with black a little bit to make them look like they've had coal in them. Some of them even put lights in the passenger cars. Some of them is what they call constant lighting, or some of them that can run right off the track. And it makes it all for a real nice effect.
I notice that all the fellows that are here getting ready to run the system are all equipped with an intercom system. Why do you have that?
Well, that's kind of like, it makes it nice so that when the guy's at the dispatch board, he doesn't have to yell to somebody on the other end of the layout, or the people, the engineers or the people running the yard. They can keep in contact what's going on with the layout, and they don't have to yell back over to him saying my train has stopped at such and such a place, give me clearance. And not only that, it makes it look more professional. We try to get as much as being prototype as we could. And also it makes it nice when we have like an open house or something also, because there's so much chatter going on that it's even hard to concentrate.
If you were to estimate the length of the track, how much would there be? Any idea?
About 1,800 feet probably total. And if you took all the yards and stretched them out, you might get a little bit more than that.
Now, we said that this HO was 1/87th. Is that what the
That's
scale
1/87th
is?
scale compared to the real engine out there.
So you got quite a few miles of track in here.
Yes, there's a lot of ties too.
Your interest all started one Christmas morning with a little train running around the base of a Christmas tree. Is that how it got started?
That's how it started for me. The old Lionels under the tree, and it progressed to a 4x8, and then it went into a room, and then it went into 2 rooms, and after that, the bug is in you.
This is terrific, this layout. It's unbelievable what can be done with the models and the HO and the dedication of the fellows here. And if you have a Christmas tree and a train running under it, to put this layout underneath your tree, I think